Jodi McKay. Well, forums.
Very high chair. If I fall, will you catch me?
Sure, always here for that sort of thing. I guess that a great place to start, Jodi, is you're someone that's been in the public eye now for a large part of your adult life.
23 years.
23, that's a very large one.
I know you think I'm 23.
Almost all your life. I wonder, when you think about where you are now in the public eye, where the real Jodi McKay comes out, when do you feel comfortable just to be yourself? Is it ever in public?
Yeah, it is, actually. I feel okay about being me, and I think that one of the things that I learned quickly when I went into politics was that there is a whole different expectation about who you are and the way you should behave. Thankfully, because I'd already been in the public eye, not much changed for me. So I think in those first 10 years or so when I first was on TV, then certainly I can say that it took a lot of adjustment to not walk down the street and know that everyone was staring at you or whispering. Now I don't really pay much attention to that.
Can you remember when that first happened? Can you remember what your reaction was when someone first went, "This Jodi McKay"? Hopefully not Jodi McKay. Because that must give you...
I answered both, because they can't stuff up Jodi. No, not really, but it's always been there. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing. I don't think too much about that, but I do know with that comes a certain expectation about how much people want to know about me, and there are parts of me that I want to keep personal. I know that I sell papers for the Newcastle Herald because I polarise people, and people want to have an opinion of me, whether it's good or bad, but I do make people have an opinion of me.
How far does Macquarie Street feel from Gloucester, where you grew up?
Oh yeah, Gloucester. Look, I could never have imagined I was doing this. When I grew up in Gloucester, I would look at people going to school in Newcastle and I would think, wow, look at people my age and think they have so much more than what I have because I grew up in a country town. But now I look at it and I realise that rural and regional experience that I had was part of making me who I am, because it's about integrity, it's about hard work, tenacity, passion, all those things that my family instilled in me, which I'm very thankful for.
And time spent with family must be pretty rare or not?
I think if there was one weakness I had, it's about finding that balance. I think my friends and family have been very thankful that I finally found a partner, because that hasn't been easy, particularly in the public eye. But I have someone who understands what I do and why I do it and shares the same beliefs as me philosophically. But I have 6 beautiful nephews and a niece. And I have to tell you this story. So my nephew Lachlan, when I first became member for Newcastle, walked into the office in Bolton Street and he said, "Auntie Jodi, where's the seat?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "The seat of Newcastle, where is it?" So I went to his school quite recently and I spoke to him to his school as Minister for Women. And I was able to pin a little badge on him as Vice Captain of his sporting house. And he was just so proud, that one, Auntie Jodi was there, and two, that I can do that for him.
It's said in radio that you always mark your friends' names in pencil in your address book because they don't necessarily stay friends for very long. How hard is it, and is it necessary to make friends in politics?
Look, I know who my true friends are. I know those people who will stand by me. One of the things I found most confronting when I stood as a candidate for the Labor Party was that people suddenly formed a different opinion of who I was as a person. So they felt it was okay to say they didn't like me, even though they didn't know me, because I had declared how I voted. So, as a journalist, that was something I always kept private, as most people do. But I found that very confronting. So I think I've learned who those people are closest to me, but I also try and reach out to people as well, and I ask people to judge me on the way I behave and the things things that I bring to this job. And for me, it is a deep social conscience. It is very much about making sure that I treat the weak and the strong the same, and the employee and the employer, and those who have and those who don't. And that's the way I approach, I think, who I am in all aspects of life.
When you were first elected, the ill feeling, the ill will that was directed at you by many people in the community was, I think, shocked you and shocked many people. How did you deal with that, and who did you turn to deal with that?
It shocked me because, you know, my house was broken into, people would scream at me and spit on me, and it was tough. See, I hate doing these things.
It's good you are.
You know, I remember going to the Carrington branch meeting, and they was, you know, doing things to me they shouldn't have been doing. But as soon as one of them gave me a little bit of attention and sympathy, I showed emotion, because it's not too easy. I can take all that. I'm pretty tough. I have learned how to be tough, because you don't go into this role without being deeply passionate and believing in why you do it. But it does come as a cost, and particularly as a woman, it's so much harder. You know, and this place is a working town.
All right, let's lighten things up a little bit. Let's have a little bit of a look at these flashbacks, so to speak.
Oh, I think Luke is here as well. He's now working with the Liberal Party.
This is back in the NBN days. When you look at these photos, what is a couple of words that come to mind?
She has short hair. Big earrings. Oh, look, I started reading news when I was 19 here. You know, I look back on that and I think, my gosh, I was reading when the earthquake happened here in Newcastle, and you don't see 19-year-olds reading news these days in places like Newcastle and Sydney, but that's what I did, and there I am eating breakfast.
Eating breakfast, who would have thought?
Yeah.
Now look at the pants on that, we're looking at...
yeah, I love my clothes. People tell me I wear too much black, I take that on board.
Now I'm just trying to work out who that is with Jodi and Christina. Just a quick question on this. This is what your notoriety, what you've achieved.